Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is look at the cross multiplication way to compare fractions. I'm going to take my same fractions that I started with, negative 5/6 and negative 3/8, and I'm going to cross multiply. Another name for this is called the butterfly method. We're not concerned with all of those fancy words. We just need to know how to cross multiply. So 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. 8 times negative 5 is negative 40. And now I'm right back to comparing whole numbers, which I can use the number line for. Or if I have a picture of the number line in my head, I don't always necessarily need to draw it out. However, in the example that you do, I want you to compare these two fractions, and I want you to show me how you can use each strategy that I used above. I used the number line strategy. Yes, I want you to draw it out. I used the common denominator strategy. So I'll need to see that worked out. And then the last way I showed you was to cross multiply. And I would like to see that. So go ahead and finish that part on your own. Now the next one is whole numbers. The only way we can really compare whole numbers is using the strategy of the number line. In my example, I have two negative numbers. Again, I'm going to start with 0 because all of my numbers are negative. I can go ahead and put this. I know that these are less than, these are greater than. Okay, and there's my symbol. All of the numbers over here are less than all of the numbers over here. So if I start jumping down this number line in the negative direction, I would get to, I don't know, negative 5, negative 10, negative 15, negative 20, negative 40. And I know that negative 16 would fall right about here. And negative 39 would fall right about here. And because my symbol will tell me that the lesser number is this negative 39. So if I wanted to write that out in a number sentence, I would say negative 39 is less than negative 16. Okay? Really easy. Another strategy we can use, and it's not on the notes, is using the absolute value symbol when we use when we're comparing negative numbers. Now I could have said negative 16 compared to negative 39 and wrote absolute value on there. The absolute value, remember from last year, is just the distance from 0. So this number is 16 away from 0. This number is 39 away from 0. Now this number is bigger than this number, but because they're negative, we have to flip-flop. So this makes this number bigger than this number. And we add our negatives back on there. Hope that makes sense. Please feel free to stop, rewind, and re-watch if necessary. Now, on this comparing whole numbers, I use the strategy of the number line, which I want you to use. So number line on your example. Not your example, but on your practice problems. And then the second one was I used the absolute value reasoning method. Okay, so go ahead and show those. The next thing we're going to do is compare decimals. Now the strategy I want to look at is lining up the place value. I have up to 1, 2, 3, 4 places. I have the tenths place, the hundredths place, and the ones place. So I'm going to line these up with my numbers. The first one is 0.3. If my decimal's here, the 0 goes in the ones place, the 3 goes in the tenths column. This 0 goes in the ones place, this 0 goes in the tenths column, this 4 goes in the hundredths column. Now all I have to do is compare, and my decimals go all the way down. Now, since my ones column, I have the exact same numbers, I can't compare by those. So that's no longer an issue. Now I go to the next column, and I'm going to compare my tenths. I'm comparing whole numbers now. Is 3 larger or is 0 larger? 3 is larger. So that will let me know this number is larger. So if it's larger, my number sentence is 3/10 is greater than 4/100. Easy, easy, easy. I want you to go ahead and use this strategy, which is the decimal lineup, to show me that you know how to do this strategy. The last thing that we're going to go over is mixed numbers. Now, mixed numbers are kind of tricky. We always have to convert them to the same form. Right now they are the same form, but if we notice, our whole numbers are the same. So really, we can compare this fraction to this fraction and we'll know what it is. Now this happens to be a benchmark fraction. 3/4 is equivalent to 75/100. You know how to do the math by doing TIBO. And this 2/3 is also a benchmark fraction. And I happen to know that that is 66/100. Okay, so we're going to compare decimals now. And again, we can do that with the decimal lineup. We have hundreds, tens, the decimal place, then tenths, hundreds. Okay. I don't have an eraser, but that's okay. That's just a little mess up. So I'm going to start listing my numbers now. The first number is -14. So the 1 goes here, the 4 goes in the tens place, the 7 goes in the tenths place, and the 5 goes in the hundredths column. And I'll do the same thing with this number. Now these are the same, so I can't use them to compare. The tens column, they're the same. I can't use them to compare, but I can use the tenths column to compare. And this one is larger. So -14 and 75/100 is compared to -14 and 66/100. However, these are negative. So if we look at the number line, the bigger the absolute value, the lesser the number is. So if this is my less than symbol, where would this fall on the number line? Would it be down here, or would it be crisscrossed? Think about that for a moment, and I want you to answer that one on your notes, as well as finishing this one. Now, another option is to find the common denominator, and when we do that with mixed number, we use around the world. Everybody knows around the world. That goes to Parmenter Middle School, but I'm going to break that down just in case someone has forgotten. 4 times 14, and then you'll take that number and add it to 3. So 14 times 4 is 56. So that would have given me 56. And then that's a negative, because that's a negative. A positive times a negative is a negative, plus 3. Let's see, 56 plus 3, and I'm just taking the number, is 59. But again, it's negative because this is a negative number. So this is -59/4. I just converted that from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Once I convert both of the numbers to improper fractions, they will then become the same form, and I can go ahead and use my strategy of common denominators or cross multiplication to compare. Your choice, and I want you to show me that you can do that here. So I want to see the common denominator method. And I want to see you work out the decimal lineup method. Okay? Good luck, and make sure you finish all of your homework. And I enjoyed this. I hope you did too. Remember to stop, rewind, and replay as much as possible, or as much as you need to. I'll see you in class. Thanks.